We have another one from South by that I haven't had the chance to rewatch. I did reach out for some links for it. It's been cool to see a lot of people digging it. It had some early screenings.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to go see Mario, they were having another press screening for this. They were giving out those bags from South by. They were giving out glasses. They were giving out these lanyards that looked really sick. They weren't giving out shoes though. And that would probably be the biggest thing that this movie missed out on. I don't understand how they didn't push the entire sneaker culture head movement with this. They have done some complex stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but like, yo, I don't think they went the route they could have with this, in my opinion. But nonetheless, it's had a slow release and people have been liking it. And I think that's a great thing. I heard that they're not going to be putting this on Prime till May 20 something, like
Yeah,
Memorial
they're
Day. So.
giving it a chance to breathe in theaters, and it's done pretty well. Like even though it came in fourth over the weekend, it made $15 million. Like it was just like less than 200,000 shy of the second slot, which John Wick had, and Dungeons in third also made 14 and change. So
That's not bad.
$20 million over the long weekend too, for a movie that like people probably have an awareness that it will be on streaming not too far from now. I mean, pretty solid.
Yeah, no, because it's crazy. Like Shazam's at number 8, right? That's out at home already. I think John
Yeah.
Wick isn't going to come out at home until around the same time. Dungeons has been doing well. I'm waiting on that Scream one. I mean, yeah. I still recommend it as a movie to go see in the theaters. I think we had a fantastic time watching it
Yeah.
over at South by, and I think it is a movie that definitely benefits from you watching it with an audience. I think watching it at home, it's still going to be good, but you want to get swept up with like this. It's like a crowd cheering movie easily. So
Yeah.
my recommendation is check out all the interviews where Ben Affleck has been changing. I didn't realize that man speaks multiple different languages. I've never seen a dude code switch so much on a rollout as this man has, but he is just invigorated with this movie. And I love seeing that because my standout thing for these two, or for this movie, was the boys coming back at it. Almost using the Nike come up story as these two screenwriters back from the 90s who are
Yeah.
still making movies together to this day.
Right, there's that recurring theme they talk about. It feels like the old days at Nike, and you kind of get the sense
Yeah.
that they're saying like it feels like when we were making Good Will Hunting. There is something exciting about seeing the Affleck Damon pairing again, because like I love The Last Duel, but they also didn't have a lot of screen time opposite one another in that movie. This
Hey,
one
but
they
when
get
they
a
did,
lot
dude,
of scenes together.
when they did.
I mean, it was great. It was great. That's some of the best stuff for sure. But they get a lot more of
Exactly.
it here. It's interesting because like I like this movie a lot, and like we've been talking about, like it is just such a pleasure to watch these incredible actors do some really incredible acting. There's just a lot of meaty, juicy scenes for them to dig into. I do occasionally think about this movie and feel like, man, that really is like intensely capitalistic propaganda for Nike, but I
Bro.
want to ignore it because it's so satisfying to watch.
It's got
How
that
has
Top
that
Gun
aspect
effect,
of
huh?
it sat with you?
It
Yeah,
has the
right.
Top
Like
Gun
you can
effect, right? Where you just don't
a
care.
movie that's so good you just don't care about the propaganda elements. Yeah,
Yeah, like you don't even got to know politics. You're just like, there's no way they're producing that movie. Like everybody knows about the bad things Nike does. And the movie does that thing where it kind of needs to address but it skirts it because it doesn't want to get too into it. But skirting it is also just as bad.
Yeah.
The casting or non-casting of Michael Jordan, how's that sat with you?
I think it kind of works. Like, I don't really miss it that much. I feel like when I was watching it, that's when I felt it the most. But, it's not like, oh, I really wanted a monologue from Michael Jordan. How about
Yeah.
you?
No, I agree because when you have such a good cast, especially the Viola Davis performance, it's the essence of him, but really letting his mom do the speaking. It works out at the end. I still think it's goofy, but I think it works out at the end because of what he's too overbearing. Not I don't say overbearing, but he's such a taunting figure that I do agree with Affleck that it would have taken too much out of the movie, and allowing his parents be the kind of like voice for him during this period of time I think worked very well. So if you have not seen this movie, for Viola Davis alone, there are points where
Right.
to me this is a 3.5 movie. But I think back to like her isolated scenes, and I start wondering if maybe I need to give it another half star. So to me, that's why I'd give it the recommendation to go out and see it. You got a month before it hits Prime. It'd be comfortable at home, but I still think it's worth the matinee prices out in theaters.
I'm seeing a lot of Oscars prognosticators starting to talk about this one and it
Interesting.
potentially being involved in the Oscars race next year. And let me just throw a couple things at you because
Not a slow
we have
month?
seen the yeah, we have seen a couple of the last Oscar picture winner, Best Picture winners are these sort of like uplifting, heartwarming, like they win in the end kind of films. And we've also seen that the last couple Best Picture winners came out a bit earlier in the schedule, had some time to sit on streaming services. People got to rewatch them, share them, and maybe it grew in people's estimation. Do you think that Air has a legitimate shot at maybe being an awards contender, or do you feel like it's not that movie?
Give me your top 3 categories.
Well, listen, so Viola Davis feels like she
That's it.
could be a lock if she
That's
wants to be, right? Like if they want
Yeah.
to campaign her.
'Cause
I could
supporting,
also
right?
see a run for as supporting, yeah. I could also see a run for Matt Damon. You know, this is probably the best run Damon's had in a little while. And why not Affleck too? Why not Affleck
First
for
of all-
supporting
first-
actor?
first of
and
all-
if you
first
can
off,
get, yeah,
He doesn't run in the movie. And 2, it's Cillian Murphy. I said this. I don't want to hear no Best Actor talk. It's Cillian Murphy's
I'm
here.
not talking about winner. I'm not talking about winner. Just a nomination, maybe. And look, if this movie gets like 2 or 3 acting nomination, a screenplay nomination, I think it could totally get. It starts to build enough love in those categories, maybe production design too, that it could sneak into that top 10 for picture. I don't think it's going to be a front runner. I don't think it
Picture?
could win. I don't think it'll win. I think there's a chance it gets one of those last triangle of sadness kind of slots.
Wow.
I'm not predicting
Viola-
it, but there's a chance.
Mine's just on Viola. Her as supporting, I think, is probably the biggest shot that this has going on. So maybe script. I see script second, but it's so far back. So I'm sticking with Viola. I'd like to see her. She's actually the one that I think would be the best to see actually score up a little nomination there. But you'd recommend going out to theaters to see this one too, or should people wait at home?
No, I think it's worth it. I think it's a fun movie, especially if you can get it in a crowd that's going to respond to it. I mean, it's a little weird when people cheer for Nike making corporate acquisitions, but at the same time, like you feel it in the
it's the
moment,
swoosh.
right? And it's about them coming together and pulling it off. So it's a fun movie.
All right, Air, Courting a Legend, out in theaters. We both recommend it.